Most people think that violence will not touch them in their own community, and we're seeing that that's not true anymore. So when you had a congresswoman that was shot and a young 10-year-old girl that was killed, I think people started looking at, wait a minute, what's going on here? Why is it so easy to be able to do this? And I think that the legislation that I introduced as far as the large magazines, people are saying, wait a minute, that's common sense. That's not interfering with anybody owning a gun. My piece of legislation, no matter what they say about it, is not taking away the right of someone to own a gun. This is a piece of equipment that goes onto a gun. And people have to understand you'll still be able to have a gun with a clip, with a magazine. It will only have 10 bullets plus one in the chamber. I'm taking away the large capacity clips because they were made strictly for military and police officers. And as far as I'm concerned, also from the shootings that we've seen, going all the way back to when the Long Island Railroad massacre happened, which affected my family, he used large capacity magazines. And if it had been cut down to 10, a number of people would have been saved, and certainly a number of people wouldn't have had the horrific injuries that they had. I know I have an uphill battle, but let the debate begin. Let the debate begin. That's all I'm asking for, is a fair debate. We have very, very strong NRA people throughout the country that have a very strong voice, and when something comes up that they feel is against their best interests, they will flood our offices with emails, faxes, anywhere from 500 to 1,000, depending on the subject. I have been working for years to get the gun safety groups throughout the country to come together and speak with one voice. And in the last several months, that's actually what they're doing. They're coming under one umbrella called States Unite. So when this bill either comes out of committee or hopefully for a vote, we're going to see other voices emailing their member of Congress or their senator to support my legislation. I look at our young people being very savvy, where they use the internet, they use Facebook, they use Twitter. And so I'm speaking to much larger groups of young people saying you can make a difference. I just want them to have the opportunity to have their voices heard. I knew nothing about politics. I knew nothing about gun issues. But when it happened to my family, and through the couple of years that my son was struggling to learn how to speak and be able to take care of himself, and that's when I started looking into, why do we have so much gun violence and who's doing something about it? And I started to become an activist. And believe me, it was not a comfortable role for me. I spent my life as a nurse, an intensive care nurse, but I was an extremely quiet, shy person. My husband was very outgoing, very jolly, and I used to always be entertained by his personality. But when something hits you personally, and in my case it was gun violence, I decided that I was going to do something about it. And many of my opponents over the years have said I'm a one-issue candidate. I have no problem being a one-issue candidate, because this is why I went to Congress, this is why I was elected to go to Congress. But to say that I don't work on a whole host of other subjects, and I have 7 big pieces of legislation that was signed by a president. That itself shows that I have many broad interests. Now, granted, education is extremely important to me, mainly because I've always felt give young people a good education and give them the opportunity to do something with their lives. Hopefully they will not go into the world of gangs. Hopefully they won't go into the world of drugs, and that means hopefully they won't be using guns.